Welcome to part 12 of this series. In this part, we are going to be looking at even more Earths from the multiverse. Remember, I'm going in number order to make it kind of easier to follow. To start this part off, we're going to Earth 4 with a Constantine movie. The movie starts in Liverpool, England, and we see young Constantine getting into magic for the first time. However, John doesn't pay attention to the rules of one of the spells, and he accidentally sets his house on fire. John manages to make it out of the house. However, his parents weren't able to get out. John starts to walk through the damage and he finds the instructions to the spell. He picks the paper up, and the small print on the bottom glares at him as it lights up in a yellow light, as it says that in order for you to get the power of the spell, there must be a sacrifice. Then he is approached by a kid that seems to be around the same age. The kid gives John a cigarette, and John takes it. They don't say a word to each other as John smokes it. John then steals the rest of the pack from the kid as he is walking away. The kid looks over his shoulder at John and gives a slight smile. We then fast forward to when John is in his early 20s and has completely given up on magic. John has met two people named Gaz and Veronica. They have started a rock band together. However, during one of their gigs, a couple fans start a riot. A young fan gets caught in the middle of the fight. Constantine sees her and goes to make sure that she is okay. He looks to see if anyone is paying attention to them. And for the first time since the house incident, he uses magic. The magic heals all of her wounds. John uses another spell to erase her mind of all the magic. However, he starts to feel weak all in his body and runs out of the venue. Gaz and Veronica follows him outside and ask him if he's okay. He says that he doesn't know all of the details, but he has a theory. He then tells them about his past and all the magic that he can do, and about the incident that killed his parents. Gaz and Veronica tells John that they don't care what John has done in his past, but because they now know that his magic can lead to great things, and they will always be there for him. Now, with nothing holding him back, he uses his magic freely. Gaz and Veronica talk him to use his magic to give himself great things and make his life better. This includes luck at the casino and in the lottery, and any amount of money that he wants inside of any ATM machine, and that anyone would like the music that they play, no matter what notes they're sung or played. However, during one of his adventures with Gaz and Veronica, John makes a mistake with one of the spells, and he accidentally kills a lot of people. He quickly tells Gaz and Veronica to get away from the area. Once they leave, he tries to use another spell to bring everyone back to life. Before he can finish, he gets shot in the back of the knee. He then sees that he was shot by a cop, and he tries to explain to her that he needs to finish what he was doing. She doesn't listen to him and puts handcuffs on him. John starts to fight free, and he starts to get madder and madder. It gets to the point where all of his magic that is inside of John gets out of him with a huge blast. The blast goes out to all the people who died and brings them back to life, so they still have many injuries. It also heals John's gunshot wound. The police officer doesn't believe her eyes. She lets him out of the cup. However, she doesn't say that he can leave. Instead, she says that the only way that he will get away with any consequences is if he uses magic to help her find a serial killer. And the only thing that they know about him is that they believe that he moved after a stealth trail from Manhattan to Liverpool. Once he agrees, they head back to the station. At the station, the author introduces herself as Margaret Ames. She hands John a piece of cloth that belonged to the killer. John uses the locator spell on the cloth that the killer owned. John figures out where the killer is located at, and him and Margaret are about to leave when another officer enters into the station. They bring in Gaz and Veronica because he has arrested them for following Margaret after she had brought John to the station. They tell John that they wanted to help. John says that it could be dangerous, so they shouldn't go. They say that when they first found out that John could use magic, they made a promise, and that promise was to always be there for John. This convinces John to let them go. So by using the locator spell, they're able to find the serial killer as soon as he is about to kill another person. Margaret is shocked when she sees who the killer is. She says that the killer is Linton Midnight, who is also the brother of the first victim, Sedelia. She asks him why he killed his sister. He explains that about 10 years ago he was approached by this beast of a man, and they told him all about hell and the magic that hell possesses. He then says that the man told him that the only way he could have this magic was for him to send someone down to hell to get it for him. So that's when he killed his sister to fill that role. Then he moved to England since everyone in Manhattan knew who he was. However, there was a detail that Midnight didn't know, that to keep the magic he had to keep sending people down to hell. Midnight then says that it's about time for him to kill another person. This is when he shoots gas with a blast of magic, killing him. This starts the final phase of the movie as a distraught John is about to go head to head with Midnight in a magic fight. Since Midnight had his magic longer than John, he's able to easily defeat John. Then, with all of his remaining magic, John is able to summon a stronger demon from hell to take care of Midnight. With Midnight defeated, John tries to get the demon back to hell. However, the demon doesn't want to go. He smiles and says, "Hey, John." John asks him how he knows his name. The demon then says that doesn't John remember him? He then explains that he was the paper that hid information about the sacrifice. He was the kid who gave John the cigarette. He was the girl that got trampled on at the concert, thus calling John to be very weak since saving a demon like Nargal would cause the person to have dark magic implanted inside of them. Finally, he was also the person who set Midnight on the path of killing. All of that would lead both of them to this very moment. And now John can't stop him from taking over England and one day the world. John says that all he heard was that Nargal was scared of him, since he didn't want to fight John, and they were both at their strongest. Nargal then says that he admits that John is brave, but since he waited in eternity to take over Earth, what's another 5 years or so? However, if John can become more powerful, so can Nargal. And the way to do that is to take a power source from Earth. This is when Nargal takes Veronica to hell. John tries to stop Nargal again, but he's too weak, and Nargal tells him that John must make a choice between the world or the girl. John is about to give up the world when Veronica tells him that it'll be okay, that when John is strong enough, he will save her. Nargal then laughs and says that he left John another present, and then he opens the portal back up to hell and leaves with Veronica. John then hears Margaret says that she is sorry, and then he turns around to see her with a gun on him. She says that her captain just called her to tell her that someone must pay for Gaz's death, and it has to be John because he's the only one here. John then walks up to erase all of her memories of John. She then asks where the criminal was. Then, with tears in his eyes, he tells her that he thinks that he went in the other direction. The movie ends with Gaz's funeral, and we see John watching from a distance. He then pulls out his phone to buy a ticket to the States. The post-credit scene, we see Gaz's body, and we see his soul getting taken from his body by a ghost that looks kind of like a Aztec god. The next movie takes place on Earth 5, and this Earth has a surprise to it, which I'll get to into a future video. Anyway, Earth 5 is different than all the other Earths in the way that it has been suffering from a lot of racism, homophobia, and transphobia. So this movie will be about a character that will be fighting the good fight, especially on the racism front, Black Lightning. The movie starts with a young Jefferson Pierce walking around with his parents in the subdivision called Suicide Slum in downtown Metropolis. Think of it like the worst neighborhood in your nearest big city. The family goes to see Peter Gamby, who owns a tailor shop on the lowest level of their building. As Pierce's father is looking for a new suit to buy, Gamby gives Jefferson a free candy bar. When they leave the shop, they hear a lot of noise in the nearby alleyway. Jefferson's father goes to check it out. He comes across a drug deal going down. He tries to quietly call the police. One of the drug dealers catches him and he gets shot. When Jefferson hears the gunshot, he escapes from his mother's arms and runs into the alleyway. Once he gets there, he finds out that his father has been killed. Jefferson finds a note that says that all snitches must die, especially if they are a insert N word here. By this point, the drug dealer has escaped and Gammy has come out of the shop. As Gammy is hugging Jefferson, he sees a flash of light flickering in Jefferson's eyes. This is when Gamby knows he must take care of the Pierce family, because not only is Jefferson black, but he is also a metahuman. Gamby helps him out as much as he can financially all throughout Jefferson's time in high school. And during this time, Gamby doesn't tell him about his powers. As soon as Jefferson graduates from high school and turns 18, Gammy tells Jefferson everything about his powers. Jefferson doesn't want to have these powers, so he goes into the Olympic Games for track and field to get away from Suicide's clone. Jefferson does very well, and he arguably wins the gold medal, but due to some loopholes that a racist finds in the rule book, Jefferson doesn't receive any medal that he deserves. After the Olympics, he decides to inspire black kids in Suicide Slum and works his way up from there. He uses his connections from the games to go to college. In college, he is trying to get his master's degree in teaching. Even though he goes through a lot of racism like he did in the Olympics, he manages to pull through and get his degree. He gets a job at the high school in Suicide Slum as an English teacher. Everything is going well up until a school assembly where a group of criminals from the organization called the 100 shows up. Jefferson is one of the people that try to stop him, but they hurt him badly enough to almost kill him. After killing several other teachers and students, the 100 managed to take the school into their control. Gammy visits Jefferson in the hospital, and the doctors say that they don't have any idea how Jefferson is still alive, but he's free to go because he has no lasting injuries. Gammy goes up to talk to Jefferson, and Jefferson says that the 100 didn't know who they were messing with. Gammy asks him what he means. Jefferson says that he wants to take the school back by using his powers. Gammy smiles and says that he thought Jefferson would never ask. They get back to the Gammy shop, and Jefferson tries to focus his powers on a training dummy, and he accidentally lights the dummy on fire from the lightning out of his hands. Gammy then hands Jefferson a belt. Gammy says that he created the belt as soon as he figured out that Jefferson had powers. He has been waiting for Jefferson to be ready so he can use the belt to control his powers better. Jefferson thanks him for not giving up on what he could have been, even when he thought he didn't see that he can be better. Jefferson puts the belt on, and the suit covers his whole body, and he gets out to practice with it. He hits some of the smaller bases that are ran by the 100, so they can't come back when he takes back to school. When he comes perfect with his powers, he goes to the school to start the final part of the movie. At the school, Jefferson gets most of it back with ease. However, he goes to the gym, which the 100 has turned into the center of where all the decisions are made. Jefferson goes head to head with the guy sitting in the middle of the gymnasium. Jefferson tells him that he's going to give him back to school one way or another, so he suggests that he gives it over the easy way because the hard way will be very painful. The guy says that he chooses the hard way, and that he is going to make Jefferson feel a shockwave through his body. Then some of the 100 members put a suit on Shockwave, and electricity in the suit makes him get bigger. Shockwave hurts Jefferson badly, and he is laying on the ground. Gammy starts to talk in Jefferson's earpiece and says that Jefferson's father would be proud of what he has been able to become. Gammy then says that Jefferson needs to remember why he is fighting and why he hasn't given up. Jefferson looks over at the kids, and he gets up. He then tells Shockwave that he told him he would get the school back, and he always keeps his promises. Jefferson then puts Shockwave down to get back to school. As Jefferson is holding Shockwave down, he asks him who the leader of the 100 is. Shockwave says that the name is Tobias Well, that Jefferson won't be able to take him down because Jefferson is a insert N word here. The movie ends with Jefferson happily teaching in the school again. When the principal comes over the intercom and says that they are happy that the kids are back in the school and that the person they have to thank is Black Lightning. The post-credit scene is Jefferson in his apartment when there is a knock at the door. Jefferson looks to see who it is. The person introduces themselves as Calvin Ellis, and he is with the Olympic Games committee. Ellen says that they realize that they made a mistake, and he is there to give Jefferson the gold medal that he deserves. The final movie of this part is on Earth 6, and it's a Ted Cord Blue Beetle movie. The movie starts with Cord inside of a college classroom listening to his teacher, Dan Garrett. Cord goes to Garrett's office to have a discussion on his assignment. In the middle of the conversation, there's an explosion in the hallway. Cord and Garrett runs outside and sees dead bodies everywhere and a man walking toward them with a gun. The gunman looks to shoot Cord, but Garrett pushes him away and gets shot instead. The gunman looks to shoot Cord again, however, something off of Garrett's back jumps and protects Cord from the remaining bullets. Once the gunman realizes that he is out of bullets, he quickly leaves. Cord checks on Garrett, and as he is dying, he tells Cord that the beetle has chosen him. However, he will still have to prove himself to the beetle The beetle then walks up to Cord, but it doesn't light up like it did for Garrett. Garrett then asks for Cord to take care of Beetle, and then he dies. Cord gets upset with the beetle not lighting up right away, so he takes it to his father, who owns his own research facility called Cord Industries. However, his father doesn't think that it's a big deal, so he doesn't listen to Ted. So Ted then takes the beetle to his uncle, who also owns his own business. Ted's uncle shows interest in the beetle and agrees to take it off Ted's hands. Ted goes back to his college dorm room. His roommate is watching the news station on the TV. The TV is talking about the explosion in the school. They are saying that they think this is the same person who has killed several people on the Cord Industries board since they all died in the same way. Cord starts to fear that his father might be in trouble, so he starts working in the gym to get stronger and better at fighting. Cord starts to look out for his father at Cord Industries when eventually the masked killer shows up again. The two Cord men manage to work together to take him down. The man says that he is a masked marauder, and he was hired by Ted's uncle to kill everyone on the board, Ted and Ted's father. They don't believe him, but then he says that they should call him and ask him about it. They decide to call him, and it's obvious that he's trying to avoid all of their questions. They then decide to head over there to check it out. When they get there, it is obvious that Ted's uncle is trying to destroy all of the evidence. They take him down, and they ask him what he is doing. He explains that he has always been jealous of his brother, and he felt like his business should have been the successful one of the two. So he thought of the plan to take out everyone that was in his way. Then Ted brought him the beetle. So then he got the idea to use it as a weapon by putting it in robots and taking over the world. Ted's father says that he built a system that his brother's business is based on and what is controlling the robots. So he should be able to get inside and shut the robots down. After Ted's uncle shoots Ted's father in the leg to stop him. Ted then ties his uncle up in a chair and he asks his father to talk him through the process. With his father's help, Ted shuts the robots down. With this act of bravery and smarts, the beetle opens up so Ted can use it. The movie ends with the masked marauder in prison and the Cord family announcing that the two brothers will be merging their businesses and that once he graduates, Ted will take over the business. The post-credit scene is Ted doing work at Cord Industries when there's a flash of light. A person in a bright and yellow suit walks in front of Ted. Ted asks who he is. The person says that their name is Booster Gold and that Ted's time is in real danger. Thank you for watching part 12. The Earth in this part are going to be the main 6 I'll be focusing on, which also includes the 3 from part 11. Every once in a while there might be a random Earth I'll write a movie for, but nothing too major. So with that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe.